we're looking at Mrs. Walkingson dress, this panel. I have to say I'm terribly uncomfortable. I'm an artist. I'm not a historian, although I've taught art history, and I'm a curator, but I'm not a curator, but I've done curating. So I always think, what the hell am I? I just go, I'm a human being.
I feel you. I'm a lapsed journalist, so I understand.
Yeah, so I want to say thank you to everybody for being on this panel. It's a pleasure. It was, thank you, Sarah, and Anika, and my fellow panelists. I also want to say thank you to a few more people. And I want to say thank you to Arnie Brownstone from the ROM. He's made a very important contribution to my life and to my existence. And it's a really important one. I'm just going to show you a book from my great-grandfather. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. Recollections of the Assiniboine Chief by Dan Kennedy. He's my great-grandfather. And I've known about this book. I've known about this book for a while, since I was young. I thought it was folklore for a long time. Nobody had it on my reserve. And then a friend bought it for me. And then I was looking for what was on the cover. I had no idea. And I asked people, my family, people on the reserve, what is this? And I could never find out. And then one day, I had quite late in life, I went up to the ROM and I thought, all my work that I've done with museums, I thought I'll just go see this museum by myself, not look at anything, or not go in the back room immediately, just look at everything, right? So that's what I did. I didn't get very far in that first room. There's so much carry the kettle stuff, which is the reserve I come from. And just seeing so much there that I don't see on my reserve. Mm-hmm. So much has been taken and put into museums and labeled in a way that it doesn't make sense to me. Now, funny enough, Mrs. Walkingson's dress is a really huge part of my family that's been forgotten. My great-grandfather's book got the dress, and I didn't know about it, and family didn't know, but how can that be? When I went to the ROM, I saw this stuff, and I went, oh God, I have to go see Arnie. I knew who Arnie was and had not met him before, but all with my work with museums at the ROM, and I thought, I'm going to meet him sometime. Oh, I didn't even get to see the ROM. Automatically went in the back because of all the carry the kettle stuff, and we spent the day together. He told me why and who, and it was amazing for me to see so much material culture from my own place. And after the day ended, it was towards the end, and he said, so do you want to see the dress that's on your grandfather's book? I was so amazed. I was talking about this for years. I've had great experiences with people who are curators of curators, writers of museums, and I've sat on the Royal Alberta Museum advisory board since I was 20, and continued to sit on that panel. So it is something that I have done for a while, with work with museums, and I do end up going into the back of the collections, but I don't see myself as being a curator, an art historian, or, I just think I'm on the ride. So going back to to this dress. When I finally see it, I'm just amazed. The quality of the beadwork and the stunning display of it's so tight. Everything is perfect. You don't see a stitch out of place. It's a masterpiece. It's unbelievable. It's a masterpiece. So I'm wondering how this got here and what's the story behind it. Can I get the next slide, please? And in a book that is named for Santa Luda, which is where the town just across from our reserve, they have this picture in there, and I didn't find this until we're just putting this stuff together for the show here, and I was so excited when I found it. So what we see here is Mrs. Walking Sun's dress. We also see, which her name is Weep Chief Woman. We didn't even know. She's named Mrs. Frank Walkington here, and it's Walking Sun. It's people didn't respect names as much as they could have and should have. So I was really happy to see this. Now, why were these clothes, this regalia, put together, such fine stuff? You see Mrs. Walking Sun's Weep Chief Woman, her dress on the left, and on the right you see Chief Walking Sun, and he wears this to a special event. These are special clothes. So why are they presented in such a place? And now I know this landscape so well. I know it like the back of my hand. I know what this is. I just know my place. I know my reserve. So, but nobody remembered on the reserve who they were. Nobody had a recollection about who they were. Now, I was there through the summer, spending time with people who are historians. Right now, we have some huge political nonsense. It's very serious. I spent most of my time trying to go through the politics of what's happening. Most of the time, Indians are dealing with contemporary politics. We don't look back, we're looking forward. They're trying to put Keystone through my reserve. And of course, there's people who are for it and against, and a lot of it's undercover, and my mother's going crazy, taking the chief and council to court. And, all of that stuff is happening contemporary right now. We don't even have a chance to look back. I just did a lecture yesterday, 500 people on Zoom. This is my first year doing Zoom. I've been on sabbatical, so this is my first Zoom craziness, and seeing lectures like this. Really, for me, I'm in my chair, my reading chair in the room where I have tea, and to see that I don't even know how many people are out there, but thank you for being here.
We're going to have to, Tanya, we're going to have to close because we just have a few more minutes for discussion before our session ends, I think.
Okay, I need the 2
have
more.
A final thought? Yeah.
I have 3 more minutes. Those clothes were intended to be worn at a very important event. Can we see the next slide, please?
Love these pictures.
My grandfather's picture is where he's wearing his regalia made by Mrs. Walking Sun. Mm-hmm. Here you see Mr. Walking Sun and Weep Chief Woman. You can see the dress. She's holding the staff, and he's in his regalia. and there's a Cree chief on the other side. They went to go to acknowledge the king and queen on their cross-country tour in 1939. And they didn't stop as they went through. It was a world tour and crazy amount of time. They went back and forth from Canada to the other end of Canada again. So they didn't actually stop to see this. And you can see the Cree chieftain there with his jaw open going, what? They're going by us? After this event, they did have to have the Lieutenant Governor General come back and give medals to all of those people who were in attendance. And I don't know how many people. I don't know the story about that. That's something that else I have to do yet more research. But out of this, I'm going to be putting an exhibition about the dress, about wartime, the donation of Mrs. Walking Son's dress to the Red Cross. This exhibition will be up in Indian Head, and I'm very happy to say that it's going to be something that's for my community actually see and to be shared with my people. So I'm blessed with that. So what I thought was a terrible COVID sabbatical turned out to be very good. And thank you, Sarah, for putting this dress into uninvited.
So
and it really made my sabbatical wonderful. Thank you.